So, let me ask you something. Do you think George and Bertha Russell's marriage can survive season 4? Because I don't. And honestly, if you're still holding out hope, you might be walking straight into HBO's biggest trap yet. Season 3 ended like a wrecking ball smashing through the world of high society. A failed assassination, a fractured marriage, secret pregnancies, and a lavender proposal that's either genius or pure social suicide. But here's the thing. Season 4 isn't just about continuing the drama. No, HBO is teeing this up to be a total shift in power, a season that could break apart the very rules of the Gilded Age. And here's where it gets spicy. HBO confirmed Season 4 back in July 2025, right after Season 3 delivered a massive 20% viewership spike on premiere night compared to Season 2. The audience is growing, but so are the stakes. And if the production schedule stays on track, you're looking at an early 2027 release window, which, by the way, would give HBO just enough time to sharpen every blade they plan to stab into your favorite characters' backs. Now, let's break down the big picture, because there are 5 storylines that will dominate Season 4, and each one is a ticking time bomb. Number 1. George and Bertha Russell. They've been the foundation, the unshakable power couple. But after that Season 3 finale, George walking away, leaving Bertha behind in Newport, that's not just a marital spat. That's a declaration of war. Their entire empire rests on the illusion of unity. If that shatters, their enemies, and, trust me, there are many, will circle like vultures. The real question isn't whether they'll reconcile. It's whether Bertha even wants him back, or if she's finally realized she doesn't need him anymore. Number 2. Peggy Scott and Dr. William Kirkland. Their engagement was bold, loud, and public, the kind of move that can't be taken back. But New York society in the 1880s wasn't built to embrace interracial couples. Gossip is already the bloodline of the elite, and prejudice will sharpen it into a weapon. Season 4 won't just test Peggy's love story, it will put her entire career, reputation, and safety on the line. Number 3, Marion Brooke and Larry Russell. After all the back and forth, they finally reunited. Sweet, right? Wrong. Because nothing in this show stays sweet for long. Larry's family politics, Marion's precarious place in society, and the shadow of Bertha's ambitions are still looming over them. It's fragile, it's tender, and it's one move away from collapsing. All over again. Number 4, Oscar Van Ryn. His lavender marriage proposal to Mrs. Winterton is as strategic as it gets, a desperate play to protect his social standing while hiding his true self. On paper, it's brilliant. In practice, it's a grenade with the pin already pulled. One rumor, one slip, one wrong ally. And Oscar doesn't just lose status, he loses everything. And number 5, Gladys Russell. Pregnant with the Duke of Buckingham's child, she's sitting on the most dangerous secret of them all. If she plays this right, she could rise as one of the show's most powerful players. If she doesn't, the pressure of motherhood, the scrutiny of the elite, and the whispers of scandal could crush her before she even gets started. Now, let me stop here and ask you this. Which storyline do you think is the most dangerous? Because the real trick of Season 4 is that all 5 are interconnected. One collapse could set off a domino effect that topples the entire high society, House of Cards. And here's the kicker. HBO doesn't just want to tell another season of drama. They want to pull the rug out from under you, to destroy the alliances you thought were safe, to make you question every victory from Season 3. Remember Bertha's bold move to welcome divorcees into society? That wasn't progress. That was HBO foreshadowing the chaos of Season 4. Society is changing, the rules are breaking, and the people who think they're winning, they're already losing. But before we go deeper, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. This channel isn't just about recaps. We go into the secrets, the forbidden knowledge, the things HBO doesn't want you to see. So join us. Because Season 4 is about to get darker than anything you've seen before. And trust me, you're going to want someone to guide you through it. Let's peel back the velvet curtain. Because on the surface, Season 4 looks like the same old ballroom dances, fancy dresses, and petty rivalries. But that's the trap. HBO is dangling the glitter to distract you, while underneath, they're quietly loading the gun. So let's dive into each storyline one by one and uncover the cracks HBO doesn't want you to notice. George and Bertha Russell, the so-called invincible couple. If you've been paying attention since Season 1, their marriage has always been more of a business contract than a love story. George builds the empire, Bertha sells the empire to society. That worked when they were aligned, but now, George walked away in Newport, humiliated, betrayed, furious. And here's the ugly truth. The Gilded Age was littered with tycoons who thought their wealth made them untouchable, until their wives flipped the board. Divorce was rare back then, but separation? It happened. And when it did, reputations were ruined, empires crumbled, and fortunes slipped into the hands of rivals. Here's my theory. Season 4 will show Bertha realizing she doesn't just want society's crown. She wants it without George. Imagine her aligning with a new financial backer, maybe even a rival to her husband, and turning the social war into a marital war. That's the kind of betrayal HBO thrives on, the slow, poisonous kind. Now, Peggy Scott and Dr. Kirkland, we need to be real here. Their engagement isn't just bold, it's dangerous. HBO knows that interracial relationships in the 1880s will ignite conflict, and they're not going to play it safe. Historically, couples like Peggy and Kirkland would have faced endless harassment, social isolation, even threats to their safety. HBO already showed us prejudice in Season 3, but that was the appetizer. Season 4 is where the knives come out. What makes it even darker is that Peggy's career as a journalist will paint a target on her back. She's not just an engaged woman, she's a public figure. Every word she writes, every move she makes will be scrutinized. And here's the forbidden knowledge. Interracial marriages at that time could be used to legally strip women of property, rights, inheritance, even social protection. HBO might go that far. They might show Peggy risking not only her future, but her very place in society. Then there's Marion and Larry. On paper, they're finally happy. But when has HBO ever allowed happiness to last? Their union puts Marion directly in the crosshairs of Bertha's ambitions. Think about it. Bertha fought tooth and nail to place herself in society. She's not going to let her son tie himself to a woman she sees as weak or unstrategic. Season 4 could pit mother against son in a way we've never seen before. And if you think Larry will stand up to Bertha? Remember Season 3? Larry bends, he compromises, he submits to family pressure when the stakes are high. This love story is built on sand. One storm, and it collapses. Now, Oscar Van Ryn. Ah, Oscar. He's played with fire since episode 1. But here's what no one's saying. His lavender marriage proposal to Mrs. Winterton isn't clever. It's suicidal. Remember, Mrs. Winterton is Bertha's sworn enemy. Oscar aligning himself with her doesn't just risk exposure, it makes him a pawn in Bertha's game, and Bertha plays to kill. Here's the historical angle. Many men in Oscar's situation during the Gilded Age tried to protect their reputations with sham marriages. Most ended in scandal, blackmail, or ruin. HBO knows this. They're not setting Oscar up for survival. They're setting him up for a spectacular fall. My guess? Season 4 gives us Oscar's downfall in brutal fashion, the kind that sparks outrage and sympathy at the same time. And finally, Gladys Russell, the secret pregnancy, the ultimate powder keg. If you think HBO gave her this storyline just to make her sympathetic, you're missing the bigger play. In the Gilded Age, illegitimate children were the ultimate scandal. Families could be destroyed overnight, but they could also use it as leverage. Gladys has two options in Season 4, hide it and risk exposure, or weaponize it and climb higher. If she claims the Duke's child, she secures a permanent tie to European nobility. That's power Bertha herself never achieved. But the danger? If she fails, if the secret leaks, she doesn't just fall. She takes the entire Russell name down with her. Now, let's zoom out. All 5 storylines are traps, and HBO designed them this way for one reason: to test the audience's loyalty. Who do you side with? The ambitious wife? The rebellious daughter? The doomed lover? The desperate son? The showrunners know we've been conditioned to root for these characters, and Season 4 is where they'll turn those roots into knives. But here's where it gets really twisted. HBO has been quietly laying the groundwork for a changing of the guard. Think about it. Ward McAllister is gone. George Russell's power is slipping. Bertha is isolated. Who rises in their place? The younger generation. Marion, Larry, Gladys, Peggy, even Oscar. They're the future. Season 4 isn't just about tearing down the old, it's about showing us who's ruthless enough to survive in the new. And let me ask you this, do you honestly think HBO will give us a happy ending for any of them? Or are they grooming us to watch our favorites become the very monsters they swore to fight?